Why is this pretty important building called Capitol? Well, to answer, we need to go back in history, revealing a lot of surprises. So let's start. Hi everyone and welcome back to Exploring Art. This is Alessandro. Some weeks ago I published a video where I talked about the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus in Rome. And in the comments I've been asked about what's a connection between the Capitoline Hill in Rome and the Capitol Hill in Washington DC. Apparently there is none, right? I mean, there are more than 2000 years of history between the two. Well, today we'll find out the real origins of one of the most important buildings in the world, the United States Capitol. Let's start briefly with the old stuff. The Capitoline Hill is one of the 7 on which Rome was built and one of the most important. The name's origin is really interesting and related to a legend. Ancient sources connect the name to the Latin word caput, that means head or summit, because when laying the foundations for the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus, the head of a warrior was found. His name was Tolus or Olus. The combination of the two words made the adjective Capitolium, with the meaning of indestructible, eternal. Now it starts to make more sense, right? What's interesting is that because of the finding, the temple was called also Temple of Jupiter Capitolinus, and the location took the name of Capitoline Hill. By the way, here and in the description the link to the video if you want to learn more about it. This story took place in 509 BC, so more than 2500 years ago. But since then, the Capitoline Hill in Rome is still one of the most important. That's why Thomas Jefferson insisted the legislative building to be called the Capitol rather than Congress House. It was around 1790 and the newborn United States wanted to build an impressive capital. Philadelphia was chosen as a temporary one for 10 years, until December 1800, until the nation's capital in Washington DC would be ready. So, they had the location, they had the name, now they just needed a good architect. And that was the difficult part. No offense, but in spring 1792, United States Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson proposed a design competition to solicit designs for the Capitol and the President's House, setting for that a 4-month deadline. The drawings he got were regarded as crude and amateurish, as you can see in this example. Finally, the winner was actually a late entry by amateur architect William Thornton with this design. Yes, there is something missing if we compare it to what we have now, but Thornton's project was reviewed by at least other 5 architects. The original building was completed in 1800, but it was partly destroyed in the 1814 burning of Washington, then was fully restored within 5 years. The building was later enlarged with the addition of a massive dome and extended wings with expanded chambers for the bicameral legislature, the House of Representatives in the south wing and the Senate in the north wing. But who inspired Thornton and the other architects? Once again, we need to go back in the centuries and in Italy, exactly in Renaissance, to meet one of the most influential architects, Andrea Palladio. He designed hundreds of projects and some of the most beautiful Italian villas. The basic elements of Italian Renaissance architecture, Doric columns, lintels, cornices, loggias, pediments, and domes, had already been used in the 15th century or earlier before Palladio, and they have been inspired by the classical Greek and Roman architecture. However, he was able to reach a perfect balance between elegance and harmony and well-planned use of the spaces. Plus, let's be honest, Palladio's architecture was not dependent on expensive materials, since most of the buildings are of bricks covered with stucco. As a consequence, he got really popular, and his influence reached, after 3 centuries, also the United States, where the Massachusetts governor and architect Thomas Dawes also admired the style and used it when rebuilding Harvard Hall at Harvard University in 1766. Palladio's villas inspired Monticello, the residence of the third US president and architect himself, Thomas Jefferson, and then also William Thornton. That's why, in December 6, 2010, with the Congressional Resolution number 259, the 111th Congress of the United States of America called Palladio the father of American architecture. So even if the United States Capitol is pretty recent, for European standards at least, it has many connections with the past, and that's what makes art fascinating. Thanks for watching, let me know what you think about this video and see you in the next episode. Ciao!